The 007 Sean Connery 6-film Bond collection is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Warner Brothers. It can be found as a standard edition and a non-exclusive steelbook set available at your online retailers. I think many would agree that Sean Connery is the definitive James Bond, and his turn as the character no doubt falls under the iconic status in cinema history. Of course, not all the films are great, but I think consistently his run as a character has the best average. Dr. No sets the stage for both Bond and the world we inhabit with the character. There's plenty to enjoy with this particular film. It also introduces the concept of the Bond girl, the world-dominating villain, and of course the exotic locations the series is often known for. From Russia with Love has a great foil for the main spy, and it also furthers the organization of Spectre and its goals. Goldfinger is personally one of my favorites of the series. It's a bit of a departure from the previous two films and the overall arc, but it's no less enjoyable. Plus, we are introduced to Oddjob, who later becomes the bane of all players in the video game adaptation of GoldenEye. Thunderball takes us back to the tropics and has, in my opinion, one of the best femme fatales in the series, Fiona. You Only Live Twice finally unmasks Blofeld in the series, and the variety of different locations used in the film, especially Japan, adds a lot in my opinion, and really should have ended Connery's run and wrapped up the Spectre plotline. Diamonds Are Forever is my least favorite of the Connery movies, and even though there are a few moments that still add to the character, it definitely felt like it was stretching out Connery's Bond a bit too much, but the film still has its fans. All in all, the Sean Connery run as Bond for me is the definitive version of the character and essential viewing for those that are just getting into the Bond franchise. The 007 6-film Sean Connery James Bond collection on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has various aspect ratios from 175:1, 235:1, and 239:1. All 6 have native 4K resolution, and they each have HDR and Dolby Vision. For purposes of this review, I will be discussing the Dolby Vision transfers. Together, the 6 films in the Sean Connery Bond collection were each given 4K scans from the original camera negative. For the most part, all the films look relatively clean and blemish-free, with only a few minor instances of a blemish here and there. I didn't witness any noteworthy print damage, and generally, it was consistent throughout all the films. Film grain retains its cinematic appearance and thankfully doesn't appear to have been managed. If you're really paying attention, there are a few instances where it appears to be frozen on screen, but this may be due to source limitations. The transfers on each film rest on a 100GB size disc with barely healthy bit rates. Now in 4K, details show modest improvements from film to film. Of course, there is some inherent softness here and there, but generally image quality is consistent. Dr. No, the first of the cinematic Bond films, arguably shows the most healthy improvement over its old Blu-ray counterpart. Each film, in fact, appears to benefit from a fresh coat of paint, as the grading offers a respectful, less obvious boost to the palette. Tropical beach locations are wonderfully vibrant, and the picturesque settings in Goldfinger look marvelous. Primaries across the board are nicely emboldened, giving the era-specific clothing and set pieces more depth. Skin tones appear natural and don't look too hot or cold, and whites are impressively stable and don't succumb to blooming. Black levels, I feel, are the largest beneficiary for these new 4K transfers, as they lead to appropriate levels in both night scenes and darker interiors. The opening sequence of the cat and mouse game in From Russia with Love is an excellent example, and there are other similar moments throughout the 6-film collection. 007 6-film Sean Connery Bond collection on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has Dolby Atmos audio mixes for all 6 films, which of course falls down to a Dolby True HD 7.1. There are also alternate 2.0 audio tracks available, as well as international options. Both purists and those looking for audio upgraded tracks will be pleased that each film in the set not only has their original audio mix, but new Dolby Atmos tracks as well. Let's be clear though, the Atmos doesn't fundamentally change the film's sound designs from their basic cores. The first 3 films derive their Atmos tracks from the original mono mixes, which does take some liberties in flushing out audio cues to make use of the additional speakers. The use of height channels are limited but appreciable, but given the age of these films, they serve more as an expansion of the track, less relying on discrete audio cues, which is perfectly fine. Once the films embrace stereo, beginning with Thunderball, things get slightly more entertaining in the surround environment. Overhead engagement often includes, but is not limited to, aircraft flying overhead, helicopters and planes, and other moments that call for it. It's still more complimentary than discrete, but no less enjoyable. Mid-level and rear output is slightly more engaging, and of course, often is filled with the film's various scores and occasional action moments that spill over. Dialogue reproduction is clean, with no problems in any of the 6 films' tracks. The LFE is fairly subtle in its delivery, though it does occasionally spark to life during an explosion, crash, or other in-film impact. I did sample each of the film's original audio tracks, and it was interesting going back as some of the earlier films sounded slightly boxy, and I'm pretty sure this was the case for its initial theatrical presentation. Once again, when we move up to Thunderball, things spread out a little bit more with the stereo, but I think for those that enjoy a more pure audio experience, these will be more than sufficient. Each film in the series has their own set of extras, and there was nothing new included for this release on the 4K format. Not all of the previously available content has ported over here, so there will be some glaring omissions, which will no doubt keep Supplements fans from trading in their old discs. The extras included on these discs consist of audio commentaries, behind the scenes, location featurettes, interviews, and more. For the picture quality, I'm going to give the 007, the Sean Connery James Bond collection on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray an average score of an A-. I'm very pleased with how these turned out on the 4K format, and I think each film has a great showing with the addition of HDR and Dolby Vision. The films retain their cinematic appearance nicely, and I do think there is enough of a visual enhancement to warrant an upgrade over the old Blu-ray discs. For the audio, I scored them an A-. The addition of Dolby Atmos with the inclusion of the original audio tracks makes this a win-win for audiophiles. The Atmos gives more breathing room to the film's sound designs, while the original tracks sound clean and problem-free. I think most will be pleased with either offering. And for the extras, I graded the collection a B+. It's a good thing that a lot of the previously made bonus materials have ported their way over here, but there are still some glaring omissions, and the lack of new extras is a bit of a bummer. New fans will find plenty to enjoy, but those of the long-time variety will probably be disappointed. So that is my review of the 007 Sean Connery James Bond 6-film collection on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray from Warner Brothers. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave direct links in the comment section, but if you have the collection already, let us know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.